this is who Alexis really was, you know, and I was changing myself for somebody else. You know, I used to dance. I've been in trafficking, and just the lifestyle that I've came from, that's all I know. So people can't fault me for being on the internet, showing this or doing this or having an OnlyFans or doing that, because that's all I was taught. I never went to college. I don't know what it's like to have a degree. So my life is make fast money.
God damn. Oh, we are going to have a fantastic conversation here today. Now, the lovely young woman that is in front of you right now, I wouldn't describe her as an entrepreneur. I like to say she's more of a hotrepreneur. But this lovely young woman has 6 million-ish followers up on Instagram, an OF account, utilizing throughout her career, her sexuality in a way to make money, selling a false bill and sale of goods to the young modern woman of today, all while adorning the stereotypical tropes of being a Super Saiyan modern woman, screaming that I don't need a man from the mountaintops, that I am a boss bee queen, yada, yada, yada. But she's on a whole reconciliation tour and managed to get a podcast sit down with this interesting brother right here. He goes by Pastor Jamal Bryant. I was formally introduced to this brother through his negative comments in regards to Kevin Samuels 2 years ago after he passed. Something to the extent of Kevin needing a GoFundMe to fund his funeral, which is super damn ridiculous. The man was making hundreds of thousands of dollars per month. But nevertheless, this holy man that I believe is still married has been embroiled in controversy after controversy in regards to his inability to control his eggplant and have discipline as he stepped outside of his marriage, gotten women pregnant, yada, yada, yada. All of the different tropes of essentially where I come to conclude is scammer interviewing scammer. Does that make sense? Now, I'm going to attempt to look beyond all of that and listen to this conversation, because what's interesting is that this woman began to adorn the Christianity hat and on her Instagram, on her social media. And then she admits here that it was all a farce. Why? Because she was trying to impress, if not lie to a guy that was actually about that life. Let's see how this bozo coddles her bullshit. This content will be a masterclass in to ensure that as a man, how do you not get taken advantage of, because these women are going as far as to hide their hoedom in the pulpit. Let's get active on this one. Without further ado.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's my party. I can cry if I want to. Thank you for coming to the party.
What?
I'm honored.
No, so I can't have a party without a celebration. And I want to pause just to celebrate the woman you are becoming.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm glad to have a front row seat.
Thank you.
To see you evolve and to move through. Everybody loves a butterfly. Nobody appreciates the cocoon.
Wow, that's deep.
What it takes to fight through to get your wings. To be the woman that you are today in 2025, what was the most difficult thing you had to fight through?
Life. Life has been lifing for me.
Yeah.
Yes. I think just
this is crazy.
Transitions is the most hard part. And just coming from where I came from and where I'm at now. Just the different phases, waking up, just not knowing what's next, confusion, you know.
My mentor is Reverend Al Sharpen, and we were somewhere, and somebody walked up to us and said, Rev, I'm concerned on how skinny you getting. I'm not sure it's healthy that you this thin. And Reverend Sharpen said, wow. When I was overweight, nobody walked up to me and said they were concerned and said they were concerned on how big I was getting. I want to take a moment and apologize on behalf of the Christian community who really have not been the most affirming and loving as you are trying to shift into who God is calling you to be. When you weren't in that space,
this is crazy.
With this level of criticism, this is trying to walk right has been a journey.
Sorry.
All right. Let's just pause on the track real quick so you guys can already see this. You have the pastor speaking to this young lady as if she's changing components of her life. You have the young lady responding with tears, yada, yada, yada. Aw, she's done so much to change, and damn it, these Christians won't forgive her, right? Meanwhile, if you go right up on her Instagram, you can still see that she has a current, active OnlyFans account, where as of just 3 days ago, she's advertising other young women to be successful on the site, and where she's asking for $200 tips for custom requests, amongst other things. Yeah, they got no reason to question why it is that she's doing, or maybe think that she's an insurgent lying. So yeah, those silly Christians, how dare they consider that she might be full of cap and bullshit. Meanwhile, all this man of God is thinking about is his bank account. The profitability to sell this sort of rags to riches, or this was bad before but converting now type of a story, is a very profitable one. And it's so trash to me that when you have religious influencers or spirituality leaders enabling the lies.
I am crying so early.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I want to, if you can, just talk about the weight of transformation.
Okay. I need to listen.
Yeah, it's okay. Take your time.
I'm not trying to ruin my makeup that fast.
No, you're okay.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah.
Listen to the bullshit. Watch.
Let me get my thoughts together.
Yeah.
What? Can you repeat that?
Yeah. How heavy has it been for people trying to critique? Is this real? Is this for show?
It was never fake. My encounter with God was real.
Yeah.
I was just really just in a space where I was dating somebody, and I'm not going to say any names, and I'm thankful for this person because it was never that I never believed in God. I just wasn't really close to him. And it was somebody that was in my life that had an influence. And, you know, I was so focused on being a wife and being loved on and being wanted that I was just like, okay, well, I have to change who I am in order for this person to accept me.
Yeah.
And I was more so focused on that versus my walk with God. I was doing it more for what that person wanted, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, maybe if I change my image on Instagram or I change how I am, then I'll be his wife or I'll do this. So it was more so like, okay, Alexis, are you ready for this? But I really wasn't ready, you know? And it's not saying that I wasn't ready to walk with God. It's just I wasn't doing it the right way. I was more so doing it for somebody else. And so it just happened overnight. So next thing you know, I'm on the internet telling the world, like, I'd stopped doing this, I stopped doing that, I stopped doing that. But this is who Alexis really was, you know?
Yeah.
And I was changing myself for somebody else and not for me. And that person had a major impact.
What is this?
I don't regret it because that was what was supposed to happen.
What?
But just coming from, you know, I used to dance. I've been in trafficking, and just the lifestyle that I've came from, that's all I know. So people can't fault me for being on the internet, showing this or doing this or having an OnlyFans or doing that, because that's all I was taught. I never went to college.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like to have a degree. So my life is make fast money.
It was all that I was taught, how to make fast money. There was no other way for me to learn how to do anything else. So how could you blame me? Give me a damn break. Offended by everything, shameful for nothing. But did you notice what she said? No, it wasn't fake, but I wore this hat because I was trying to convince a guy to like me. Sounds like her lust for money, for fast money, switched grifts and utilized the tool of what many scammers utilized as a tool, religion. Let's let the charlatan finish up.
Yes.
You know, so that's all I know how to go back to. And even during my journey, it was almost like, okay, I'm here. I started thinking of other ways I can make money in the right way. So I came out with a journal, and they were saying I'm profiting from God. And I'm like, this doesn't make no sense.
Right.
How am I profiting from God when I just
Because you haven't changed shit.
thousands of dollars that I was making per month, hundreds of thousands, to literally surrender to him? And, you know, as each day.
Because you did it for a man.
Whether I was doing this for this man, I actually was like getting closer and closer. So even though I was doing it for him, I still was getting closer to God, and everything was starting to like make sense to me. I started understanding like this is who I'm supposed to be. I have a calling on my life to help women like me. Yes. Help women that come from battered situations or that are in a nightlife that think that they're not worthy enough to be this. This is what God wants me to be, a vessel to these women. But
profiting
it's not
vessel.
helping when I have 5.6 million followers attacking me. Everything I do, it's like, oh, this is not godly enough, or you're not a Christian. So I'm like, okay, this is like not making no sense. I might as well go back to doing what I was doing because do y'all like me doing this or not? So at this point, it just became a confusion. Like, nothing was good enough for the internet. Nothing was good enough for him. He ended up leaving me in the midst of me changing. And I'm like, you promised to stay here and have my back financially because you know I'm giving up everything. And he left me.
This woman is an expert level in avoiding accountability. You went into that lifestyle because you're not educated. Ma'am, the amount of resources available to you to become educated, even organizations like Harvard giving away free courses online, is at your disposal. But oh, woe is me. And although you try to delete all of your shit from the internet, you still have the OnlyFans up, and also the internet is forever. So I bet you this man found all of the bullshit from your debaucherous past and decided that he does not want the woman that he is to marry to have images of her labia minora in thousands of men's phone storages across the world. People within your own audience recognize the grift, but then also switching overnight from hoe content to Christian content is wild. And people want to make sure that you earned it, that you worked for it. A switch so quick like this actually reminds me of Brittany Renner, who became a Muslim overnight. I suspect that she's doing this for a man that's in her life, all because she's getting older, and now that she's a mother, she's got to switch grifts, and this is the one that makes the most sense for her. But I can at least give Brittany more credit because there's not an OnlyFans, and she's taking down all of her whole content.
So I'm like, it was more so I was like in fear. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to continue to live this lifestyle that I was living, you know? And I was more so living in fear and not having faith.
You don't need the lifestyle.
Wow.
And I didn't know what faith was, because if I had the faith, I would have continued to my journey, you know? So that was about, I guess, 2 years ago now.
Yep.
And within those 2 years, there's just been so many different like transitions for me. You know, 2024, nobody could pay me to do it again.
Yeah.
But that's when I think, you know, God just wiped me clean and everywhere. And it just was like,
not wiped you clean.
Listen, you want to keep going back? You want to keep doing this? I'm going to show you.
Yeah, the public transformation of revival that's taking place is not in a corner. It's happening in broad daylight in front of the world. The same kind of pushback happened with Justin Bieber. Same kind of pushback happened with Black China. And I'm trying to figure out how the church is the only army that kills its own soldiers.
Oh,
I don't know. And it made me stop even going to church. You know, I stopped going to church.
Anybody that's on the internet and wants to make a quick buck online, I ain't gonna hate on you if you do it. Shout out to Derek Jackson. I noticed it with him first. Just lie to women. Create a center or a platform for women to feel good about their ill-begotten choices, for them not to have consequences for their actions, to just automatically wipe a slate clean and to move forward. You will become an instant multi-millionaire. And listen, mainstream media has known about this for eons now. Ever since TV was TV, they focused television as well as advertisements on women. Shout out to this pastor for continuing to get his chips up while lying to each and every one of you. What's also funny about that, how many of these dudes do they get find out at the end of this are just digging out either members of their congregation, members of their community, and they're married and shit like this. This shit is absolutely insane to me. But listen, young modern woman, come over here to this side, all right? We're speaking from truth over here. You listen to us, you're gonna get results within your life. It may not feel good, but the outcomes will be there. Let's go.
I stopped reading the word like for a while. And then, you know, God got my attention. God's never going to stop getting my attention. I know that he'll show me in different ways, but it was to the point where I was like, well, I'm not even Christian anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because if I like, this is what Christian feels like, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, if y'all can't accept me, then who is, you know?
Yeah.
That's because it's fake for you.
But that was not currently.
No, I got it.
But I kind of been not ashamed, but scared to go to church because it's like I feel like everybody's going to be looking at me like, oh, she was doing this and she was doing that. So I just kind of keep my relationship with God now private.
Yes.
Not because, and God doesn't want me to not speak on him because I still
so crazy.
Speak on it. I just learned that accountability is kind of important. And so it's not what you do, it's how you do it. I think that's what I learned from everything. Just keeping my walk private. It's not for everybody to understand.
No,
but I do think that it's important for people to understand that you can be who you are. Like, don't change for nobody. And a journey's a journey.
Yeah.
I might wake up and make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean that the next few months that's what my life is going to be.
Yes.
And that's what happened in this season. Like, I feel like the devil was pulling me back because that's where he wants me to be. But it's like the force keeps pushing me to go more like to what I'm supposed to be, you know?
She has a PhD in yapology. She's got a master's of science in bimbo babble. How can you say I accept accountability, yet I don't have to change for nobody? The devil is not pushing you back into any lifestyle that is your lust for debauchery, which is underpinned by your lust for money. And because of your lust for money, you refuse to humble yourself. You refuse to be modest. You refuse to give up that which is worldly for the grift, for the lies. And that's disgusting. Listen, let me also finish off and say this is that typically people like this will go down in my comment section and say something to the extent of, "But MTR, they're trying their hardest to improve." And my response to that will always be, listen, people can improve their situation, but if you recognize a grift, if you recognize a liar, then you must call it out. It is your duty. Your silence means that you side with the bullshit. And it needs a conversation because people without the understanding of what we already know will follow these people. And then it becomes the blind leading the blind. Faith without works is absolutely dead, and it's clear right here. And listen, I'm not the most religious person, but it's clear right here that the faith never was there and the work never damn happened. She just saw a lick and then pretended like something. But thank goodness that this guy understood what was happening before he got it on bended knee and found out in 5 to 10 years as he's looking in front of a family court judge, wishing, begging for sympathy. That has been your content here today, and I have been your gracious host, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. Guys, drop me a line down below. What is it that you think about this piece of content right here? I'd love to hear from you. Last but not least, if you want to join our men's self-development community, we are turning absolutely up on my platform, especially if you have a focus into financial education. I'm giving out all of the tips, tricks, tools in order to upgrade your mindset so you're making clear, rational decisions now that you won't pay for later on. Click in, beam up, and I will see you guys soon. Until next time, you two, peace.